Yeah, hi everyone. This is um, 2024 Football Manager Platinum Review. So we'll just first start off with you complete the induction, pretty straightforward trophy. You sign the first player, straightforward trophy. Motivational speaker, your team had a positive effect on the team. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. You guide your team to victory in a competitive fixture. It's pretty straightforward. You played a competitive match without conceding a goal. That's straightforward. You've had a happy squad. Again, another pretty straightforward trophy. So most of these trophies at the start here, or the more common ones here, pretty easy, and you'll probably get them in your first couple of seasons. There's no real, you know, huge difficulty with this game. It's either you pick like a team like PSG or Man City or Bayern Munich, and you can start easy picking those sides, or you can start down with sixth division in the English league or in the Welsh division, make it a bit more of a challenge. But we'll just skip over up here where things start to become a little bit more complicated. So the only really trophies I had particularly issue with, we'll start off with the challenge, which actually isn't really that hard. It's pretty straightforward. I don't know why it's one of the rarer trophies in the game. It only took me a couple of hours to do this. It's significantly easier than some of these other trophies here. Maybe because it's not really, people don't really particularly choose that mode that often. It's not really the most popular mode, but it's pretty straightforward if you play on easy and sort of save scum your way of doing it, which is it's pretty straightforward. Just pick a simple challenge, and it should take 1 or 2 hours. Simply because you only have one league loaded, and you'll be able to skip through things a lot quicker than you would have with a normal proper save. You got offered a job by another team, so this will probably come later. This comes later on with your career. Later on in the game, after a few seasons, once you start doing well, and that's not too bad. May take a little bit of time. Like clockwork, when I left this trophy last, simply because it's poorly worded. It's not particularly obvious. There's no real, like, it's not like straightforward, like winning a title. Um, so you have to have, an even balance of mindsets. If you had leadership, you had hard worker, you had the thinker, and there might have been another one as well. So you have to have an evenness of that, as plus with everyone donating to the squad, which seems like a new feature to the game. To me, it doesn't really have a huge impact. As long as you have a few good leaders, it shouldn't have a huge deal. Leadership's probably the most difficult mindset to have because most people aren't leaders. So I mean, yeah, that one's. I mean, it should take maybe a few hours with like PSG, maybe a few seasons. If you're lucky, it's a bit more of a luck-based trophy, as well as picking players with leadership skills or leadership mindset. It's not the worst trophy, but it's a one that it's harder to get naturally compared to most of the other trophies in this game. Like I was playing a pool proper save from English Sixth Division, and I got most of these trophies without any problems. But like Clockworth was the one I actually have to create another save for. Probably could still done it with my good save, but it was probably best if I just start off with another save with PSG and end up getting it, but it took longer than what I wanted to. And then you made it into the Worldwide Hall of Fame. Now, this is probably the longest trophy in the game if you're playing it properly, like I did. You only have to get in the top 10, or was it top 20 managers, I believe. So it's not like you're trying to get number one, so it's not going to be that long, which is a bit. I mean, I'd rather a bit more of a challenge. I'll become the top manager. There's quite a lot of, there's a lot of trophies that they could have put in this game, but they didn't. They weren't really creative with a list. I can think of, 10 trophies that be either more challenging or more creative or, more interesting in what they've done instead of a mostly copy and paste list from previous years. Then you've got the international competition, which again, you can probably just start just an international mode and just maybe pick Brazil, England, or a world class side. I eventually got an offer from Brazil later in the career, and I was able to win one with them. I mean, you can start probably do that straight away, and maybe even pick a South Korea or a Japan in the Asian Champions League and try and win that. It's not particularly too hard. I don't know why. It's only on 16.69% PSN profiles or 1.8% um, PlayStation wide, so it's pretty or PSN wide. So I don't think it's that bad. This one I can see it take a bit longer depending how you do it, or you can just cheat it by playing PSG, Man City, Bayern Munich. You'll eventually get there. It's kind of a cheap way of doing it, but this platinum trophy can take you 100 hours or 20 hours depending how well you want to play it. I just think it doesn't really reward people who want to play the game properly. So this one I got automatically, which is surprising, so I wasn't trying to get that as well. And the broad one's a little bit more frustrating this game this year. Usually it's a bit more straightforward because I had hardly any youth or training facilities get accepted at all, despite being in the Premier League. So I'm not too sure why that was a bit more of a pain in the butt than what it should have been. I eventually got it through I think Stadium Request or one of the priorities I picked. So it's a little bit more annoying than what it should be. 11 going all in have attained devoted level blinds. You probably get this through naturally, like I did with my main playthrough, and then pretty much every other trophy here you'll get if you're playing the game properly. All these ones come naturally. It's just a few of the trophies up here are a little, not necessarily a pain, but took longer than I wanted. Or if you're playing it properly like I did, the Hall of Fame, it took longer than probably what I wanted. Probably because I had 10 leagues loaded as well, which sort of delayed things as well, where you spend a lot of time just the game waiting to go to the next day rather than actually doing a few changes. Overall, it's not too bad. At least it's probably more of like a 2 out of 10, maybe 1 out of 10 if you choose PSG or Bayern Munich. It's more which way you want to go. Do you want to play from like 6th Division England or try a unique challenge by playing in a lower league like Wales or Gibraltar, or one of those leagues where you can make it more of a 5 or 6 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 difficulty rating, or you can choose PSG Bayern Munich and be 1 out of 10. That's the thing with this game. It's sort of up to the difficulty you choose. You do have that flexibility with this game, unlike most other games. I just think going forward, they could probably potentially really make more, not necessarily more difficult trophies, but make it a little bit more. There's a lot of things they can do, like make it from 6th division to 1st division in the Premier League, or win a championship from a 6th division side, something like that, or win a title as a manager on every continent. You got some people like doing that. Or win a World Cup, which is similar to this trophy anyway, but again, they don't have that in the list either. That's usually another good goal you have as a manager. And then make it to world number 1 in the Hall of Fame. Wouldn't that be a nice goal to have? I mean, it's a video game, you can sort of cheese it. I know there's only 30 seasons, I believe. You really have a shot to do it, so I guess that's probably the reason why they didn't put it in. But they could have still at least made a few more difficult challenges in the game. It's Football Manager. It's one of those games where you can sort of have an experiment and have a complicated trophy, and it's not going to annoy too many people. Maybe a bit more of a luck-based trophy, like scoring 5 or 6 goals in a game with a striker. Although I can see you doing that by playing like a really good side against a really weak team, which I think I might have had 1 or 2 players who did score a lot of goals against a really bad side, if you have a world top team. So I can see that being doable. You start a friendly match against a weak side at the beginning of each season. It shouldn't be too bad. Again, you can save scum, so it's not a huge deal. But again, I just wish there was more creativity instead of having a copy paste list. So again, not too bad. If you enjoyed this game, I know there's been a bit of a drama about it lately with Football Manager 25 coming out at a later date than expected. So we'll soon see how the next game plans out. is it going to be a disaster or is it going to be better? Personally, I think it's sort of with these sports games, they have to come out yearly. There's this sort of like an agreement for that. Um, if it ends up being a good game, that's fine. But if there's still issues after the few months when it comes out and things are pretty much the same as before or worse, and there might be a bit of a problem. But we'll soon see. Yeah, thank you for watching.